And good evening. Welcome to the Red 5 Tavern, Season 2, brand new campaign. Man, we've been working on this for a little bit, and we are so excited, and we're so glad that you have joined us. However, my setup for the videos didn't work properly, so we cannot go without watching this. Give me a second. Give us a second. Just watch this. It's not a Red 5 Tavern show without that amazing intro. So there we go. We had to have that in there. So welcome, everybody. Thank you to everyone who is here. And it's been a few weeks since we ended, actually more than a few weeks since we ended the last campaign. And we've been hard at work in the background, writing up new characters, writing up new stories. And we are excited that you're here to join us and find out what's going to go on with this brand new world. And as Miss Kelly has been helping us, as always, with the promotions, the new campaign is called The Accursed Queen of Iron Bridge. And tonight, of course, we're going to start with Chapter 1. And we are all glad you're here in the reopened tavern. And we have the pleasure of welcoming back some players that many of you may recognize, but perhaps one that you don't, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Tonight, we have with us, we have Miss Kelly, and she is playing Datari Akta. And why don't you give us a little quick brief overview as we enter tonight's adventure?
Well, Datari is a tiefling sorceress bard. She's both a sorceress, but she loves her music. She's very introverted, doesn't really care for people. People are always judging her. So she's like, whatever, just give me my tunes and a good hot cup of coffee.
It's very far away from your regular character, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And next, we have Brad. Brad, for those who don't recognize him, is literally the founder of Red 5 Tavern.
Yes.
You had to go on deployment, and let's just do it quickly. Thanks, and we appreciate your service and everything you've done for this. And
happy Veterans Day.
Yes.
Thank you. Veterans Day.
And you've had lots of great ideas while on deployment, and you've told us a few of them. So we hope to see some of those tonight and in the future. But yes, Aaron, Brad, why don't you introduce your character?
So, Kelsey, well, first off, it's so good to be back with you guys. It was a long 5+ months away, and not having D&D with you guys really sucked. We were able to play some out there. But you guys are always a blast to play with. So I am so happy to be back. But so Kelsier, he is a human fighter cleric. He was raised sort of to be a soldier, and we'll get into the history as time goes on, but really went kind of swords to plowshares and, would realize because of some things that happened out there on the battlefield that he would rather save lives instead of taking them.
Very powerful. Very cool. And next up, we have Miss Tina. Welcome back. You have a bit of backstory that you can give to us here tonight before we start?
I am playing Torga. She is a mountain dwarf barbarian. She is traveling the land after leaving her clan for reasons that will be discovered as we play along. And she's traveling with her donkey companion Grog. They seem to love to be around one another since they are the only ones that can tolerate each other currently. And she is currently in where we are setting, because I believe we're where we're supposed to be at.
Yes.
I'm currently selling some good dwarf ale in the city at the moment.
So you got a little tent setup sort of thing?
Yeah, like she does some smithing and some ale making, and she's making her way through the landscape on her journey of self-discovery.
Okay.
So we'll leave it at that.
Fantastic. And finally, but not last, but not least, for sure, is Steve. Welcome back, and you have a little intro for your character.
Yes, my character is Draymond Cantu. He is a dark elf rogue. He was raised by a human assassin who was very recently imprisoned due to a job they were on that went awry.
Oh.
And now he is wandering around and finding work and thieving things.
All right.
Steve is also a veteran, so happy Veterans Day, Steve.
Happy Veterans Day to you, Steve. Thank you very much.
We got some thieves in this house. There's some thieves in this house.
So, are we? We're describing where we are in the festival.
Yeah. So let's do that. Let's just go out the room again. We'll start with Atari, and just before we launch into the actual setting of the story, where are you? Let me position it this way. So there's a festival going on at Iron Bridge. You guys are in the Callendar Valley, pronounced Calendar, not calendar, for those who are wondering. And
Sure.
it's not exactly the most easily accessible kingdom in the region, but it draws people. This festival is known around the region, so it is definitely one of those magnets for revelers and that kind of thing, and vendors and everything. So what would your character Datari be doing, Kelly, in the festival, which has just begun? Really, it's like literally the first few hours of the festival.
Well, Datari is brand new to the Callendar Valley. So she is staying at the Rock Falls Inn and Tavern, where she grabbed a cup of coffee to go. And she's making her way. She made her way to the festival. She's really craving some live music. So she's kind of on the outskirts of the people, staying away from their judging stares, just chilling out under a tree with some coffee, checking out the tunes.
All right. Very cool. Very cool. All right. And Kelsier?
Yeah, so on one of the sort of side pathways there's a red tent set up, or kind of an open tent. On the red tent, there is a golden crest, a symbol of the sun rising on the horizon. Some may know what that symbol is, some may not. Inside the tent, Kelsier is dressed in plain clothes, and you can see that he's giving sort of survival training to kids and stuff like that, and he is providing some free healthcare services, trying to help out sick people and helping to treat any wounds and that sort of thing, and just mingling with the people there at the festival.
Very interesting. Now, is this free of charge? Or
It is
free of charge?
Free of charge. Donations only.
Great. So you're like a festival goer, but you're just offering your services for the better of the community.
Correct.
Very cool. All right. Torga, what about you?
I'm selling some ale at the festival.
Okay, so you have a tent as well, basically,
I
right?
have a tent, yeah. Nothing fancy. Doesn't need to be.
All right. And your donkey, the name again?
Yes, Grog.
Grog. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Trusted
Grog
companion
is-
Grog.
Yeah.
Right. You know,
Yeah, he's a pain in my arse, but he's around.
I see what you did there. It's meta. All right. And Draymond, what are you up to as the festival is ramping up here?
Draymond is kind of skulking around, getting a lay of the land, and he is actually looking for one of his marks somewhere in the crowd.
Okay, so you're just sort of staying incognito. You're basically flying casual, but just don't look like you're flying casual, right?
Right.
Gotcha.
Nice.
So let me just share a screen here. I've got something I'd like to show you guys here. Of course, it's going to show up and be very... No, of course not. All right, so let's cancel that. And let me see if I can share this with you guys. So, try one more time. If not, we'll be done with this. Because it's Driving me crazy.
That's okay. That's what happens when you do it live.
There we go. Window. That's what I was looking for. So here is what the area looks around the actual fairgrounds. As you can see in the foreground, there's lots of little shops and small little mom and pop businesses, taverns, whatever, what have you. And on the sides, you've got the churches, you've got the more, the inns, you've got a church, and you've got some of the more established businesses. And as you can tell, as if you've seen some of the promos that Kelly has shared, we're in a very mountainous region. And in the Iron Bridge Kingdom in the city, the castle's all the way at the back, way at the back of the background there. You can see before it just gets into the mist. That's the actual castle. And the entire fairgrounds and the greens that you see in front of it, this is where this is ongoing. And of course, to the right and left of what you're seeing is where the walled city is. So it's very well protected. The natural rock formations are protecting the city very well. And in fact, if you were to turn this around, the actual kingdom in the back, the castle, is part of the back of it. Is you can't get to it. It's like this rocky crag face and just sort of goes down into the valley, into the Mist Valley, and then no one can actually even get in there. So it's very much a secluded area. But as you guys are coming into the city and walking around, that's sort of the setting, just to give you guys an idea. So you guys are very much in the city center of the entire festival area, and it is hopping for sure. And it's a crisp early fall day in the Callendar Valley, and this mountainous region with sheer rock faces and gently sloping hills. Scattered around the hills and further down into the Mist Run are many small towns and villages. Farming, fine materials, and musicianship make this humble Graven Hunt kingdom a jewel in the region. It may be on the smaller side compared to the other kingdoms, but it is proud and has endured centuries of relative peace. And today is a special day. It is Queen Laramie's 22nd birthday. And as far back as history goes, the Queen's birthday signals the beginning of the annual Iron Bridge Festival. It brings revelers, merchants, champions, and festival goers from around the region. And with this year's perfect weather, it should be a huge event. And the main festival grounds, spanning almost the entire width of the walled city and ends at the foot of Castle Iron Bridge, the throne of Duranthier line of royalty. And as we ascend from high above the city of Iron Bridge, the festival is in full swing. So Brad, you're working at your tent, and you're actually currently helping like a young little boy who sprained his ankle. Actually, he was running around, and a little human boy and his father sort of standing around watching you. And he's crying, and he does not want you to touch his ankle, and he keeps pulling it back. And the father is like, "Son, just let the nice man help you with your ankle."
And how old are you, son?
10 years old.
Well, you're quite the strapping young lad for 10. How did you get this wound? Sword fighting, slaying a dragon?
No, I was running with my friends and I tripped on one of the rocks. Look what I can do.
Holy! Well, those would rival the most powerful muscles in the kingdom.
I tell my friends that. Yes.
Your father must be very proud of you.
I hope so. And then the father pats him on the head, and of course I am, son.
Would you mind if I took a look at your war wound here? Maybe we get you patched up.
It's gonna hurt. I don't want you to.
I'm pretty good at what I do. I think we can get through this painlessly, and we'll get you on your way.
So he gently sort of puts his leg forward towards you as the ankle comes closer to you.
Oh, very, very good. You're a very brave young man. What is your name, son?
Delman.
Stuart.
Stuart. We're going to call you Stuart.
Look what I can do.
I'm going to use my medical training and get it sort of make sure it's not too deep or anything, not too bad of a sprain, and get it kind of wrapped up tightly, and good enough. And do you think you'll be needing crutches to get around her? Do you think you can walk on that? Why don't we see?
But as you're working, you just saw it was just a very light sprain, mostly a bruise, nothing that big. It was just like a sort of a moment of pain, and he wanted to come to you. So you saw immediately that it was nothing serious for sure.
Yeah, well, I think you should be fine. And why don't you be careful out there? We're going to need you in the future to serve in the kingdom.
Thank you. And he puts his arms up for his father, and he helps him up, and he stands up, and then sort of gingerly walks away. And he's walking with his father, and the father looks back at you and like sort of nods, and they walk away. As they're walking further, the kid looks back and gives you a big thumbs up, and you can see slowly that little limp sort of goes away. And as they're walking away, you notice just coming into your right angle of your view of your sight, you see it's quite. Actually, what's your? Do you have Arcana? What actually nature? What's your nature?
My nature. I'm +0 for nature. I'm just average intelligence here.
Okay, so why don't you just roll on that?
Okay.
On nature.
First roll.
Oh my gosh! Here we go. Natty 20.
13.
That's good enough. Okay, so as you sort of turn to the right, you see these two, well, dragonborn. Actually, you recognize this dragonborn, which is not very common in these areas. And you're looking up at them. It's like, they're just walking by, almost like you get the sense they were watching you, what you were doing. And you see one was sort of like a little bit older, and a bronzish in color, and younger one is more metallic and sort of subservient. You get very much like a Jedi Master / Padawan feeling from them as they're walking by. And the older one just looks at you and nods his head as they walk past, and sort of acknowledgement of what you did there. All right. So Ditari, you've got your coffee, right? And it's to go, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you're walking in the festival area?
Mm-hmm.
What are you walking towards? What's attracting your attention right now? Because you've got vendors, you've got music in the middle, you've got people dancing with the music, you've got kids running around, you've got a whole bunch of, you got food and drink tents, and I mean there's a ton of stuff for you to look at.
I am only there for the live music right now. There's just way too many people for me right now. They don't like the look of my horns. They think I'm a demon. I'm just kind of just outside the circle, but I'm really digging the musicians right now. So
Okay,
it's been a while since I heard live music.
Okay, and so their sort of stand is more towards the back end of the festival area, which is closer to the actual castle, and sort of like at one end of it. So you're making your way down to there. All right. Draymond, you're sort of walking around, and as you said, you're sort of keeping an eye out for your mark, right?
That is correct.
Okay. And can you give us a bit more information on what that mark would be? Is that a person? Is that a thing? What are we looking for here?
Yes, that is a person that I was hired to dispatch of.
Okay. All right.
So I'm just right now just trying to find the person.
Okay. All right.
But as I'm wandering through, kind of skulking about, I'm taking in the sights and sounds as well.
Okay.
Don't hang around like so many people all at once very often, so I'm kind of getting my bearings.
Okay.
I do out of the corner of my eye see the horned creature. And just because we are both unliked races, so to speak.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. All right.
Give a quick nod.
So we're talking elf and dwarf and bad blood here, aren't we?
You could probably say that.
Okay. And so your situation right now is that we're basically at the height of the festival, just past noon.
Yeah.
There are a huge amount of people now, because like we just saw with Kelsier, is like there's families, there's kids, there is chaos right now, and you'd assume that eventually the people are going to filter out eventually. So you probably think that your mark may be more visible a bit later on as the families and the kids tucker out or they break their ankles or whatever, and they head back home. So you're sort of hanging back, just waiting for the right time to see the crowd thin out and hopefully find that mark for you. And
yeah,
as
that and probably trying to see if I might be able to get a better view from a higher vantage point.
well, you certainly can. So if you remember back to the picture I shared, sort of the festival grounds are sort of downwards, and if you sort of circle back up to the higher part of the richer part of the city, the upper crust, basically, there's definitely some better vantage points there. Although it's quite far down, unless you've got a very distinctive mark that you're looking for, it could at least give you a sense of, from there, so you can get a better idea a little bit.
Yeah, just to get a better idea of
Sure.
Where they might
Okay.
be.
Awesome. So, Torga, as you see this vile creature walk by you, well, not by you, away from you, and this large sort of half orc breaks your line of sight between the elf. It says, "Hello, love. What we got here? We got a little bit of ale, do we?" And just by smelling his breath, you're actually inebriated. He's that smack that he just made you drunk with his breath.
Yeah, well, you're lucky that I don't discriminate anyone's money. So what do you have? You want a pint?
That's right. Them gold pieces are the international language of I like you.
Oh, good for you. Oh, here you go. Take a pint. I'll take a gold piece. And you can bugger off somewhere.
A gold piece? What
Yes.
is this? Some sort of
It's
kingly ale?
dwarven ale.
I know what you are, lass. Or sir. Not quite sure right now. I'm paying 1 gold piece for a pint
Well, I
of your
can
ale.
come out from behind this tent and show you what I am.
Simmer down there, lass. Simmer down. I'll give you 1 silver piece to try, and if I like it, I'll bring me friends back, and you'll get 4 times the profit.
Oh, how lucky am I to see you again. Here's your ale. Give me my silver. Bugger off over that way.
Ah.
Yes.
So he slams down his silver piece, and he grabs his ale, and he walks off, and he's drinking, and he's like, he looks back at you, and he like raises his glass, and he actually likes it. That's quite impressive. He's impressed. So, Natari, you're up at the front now, and you're listening to the music, and you're sitting towards, sort of facing the castle. And the music is great, and can you roll for perception, please?
Let's see. $16.
16. Okay, so there's got some great music going on, just some basic instruments, but fantastic beats, and people are having fun. You're distracted from the music, sort of off to the west, far in sort of the valley. You see this singular creature flying in the air, and you're thinking to yourself, that's far. but that's also big. That's very interesting. And you can definitely tell that it's flying towards where you are.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And it's closing pretty quickly. The rest of you really aren't. Steve, Draymond, you're walking up towards the higher end, the upper section of the city. So your back is towards this. Kelsey, you're sort of more paying attention to what's going on, and Torga, you're keeping an eye on your tent. So none of you really realize what's going on here. What you guys don't see any of this. It's just your attention is completely distracted. And Datari, you get a definitely sense of like that's coming towards here. And a creature this big coming towards the city is probably not a great thing.
I start to look around to see if there are any guards that I could flag down.
Yeah, you see some guards. They're not close to you. You can see like on sort of either outer edge of this festival area, you've got two guards. So they're working in pairs. And so they're just walking around on the outer edge, just walking sort of back and forth-ish, sort of thing, keeping an eye on things. There's another set of guards, and they're mostly just like, part of the royal guard. You can tell their garb and everything. They're, part of the kingdom's guard. One set is further up, back towards closer to where Draymond is actually, because he's walking by them. So keep an eye, because that's the sort of the main entry point of the festival area. But beyond that, there's not much. The crowd control seems to be more at the entrance of the kingdom itself. So there's a few people walking around, so 6 in total, but nothing nowhere near where you are as you're sort of scanning. And
so there's nobody to flag down.
Not really. You'd have to get up and go and walk towards them or something.
I'm going to go to the nearest minstrel, and hopefully he's on break, because I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to point up to the flying beast and say, you might want to warn the people while they're paying attention to you.
Yeah. So, well, currently they're not actually on break. They're actually performing right now. So there's no one. There's some people to the side of the stage, sort of, I guess, stagehands, roadies, that kind of thing, as it were, that they're sort of keeping an eye on things and, keeping other instruments ready to be swapped out for. But as you're sort of like thinking about this, you hear from maybe a couple of rows behind you, oh, what is that? What is that? What are you talking about? It's the band. No, look up. What is that? Oh my God. And you sort of hear this din of the people who are facing this thing in the sky is starting to spread in the crowd itself. And it grows, and it's starting to grow. And Torga and Kelsier, you guys sort of hear this din of excitement, but also fear. Like you get a sense that the sound of the crowd has changed, and you both are looking towards the band area. And as you're doing that, as more people are standing up, they're pointing, and now you both can see what they're pointing at, this creature clearly flying towards the kingdom. And now the music has stopped because the musicians are getting off stage, because the bandstand has a sort of acoustic sort of little thatched roof sort of thing to sort of project the music forward. And so they're getting off their bandstand and walking around and looking towards where everyone's pointing. And now people are sort of recoiling and sort of running backwards and shouting. And people are shouting out, "It's a wyvern! A wyvern! It can't be! We haven't seen a wyvern in hundreds of years! A wyvern!" And you hear kids starting to scream. And Draymond, as you're walking up towards the upper area, the upper side of the city, you're hearing some screams of panic. And you turn around, and you're seeing this festival area sort of clearing out towards you, in fact, because people are running away from and you see people pointing at this beast coming towards you. And you have, actually, can you roll a nature check?
Yep. Nature.
Do we know what color it is?
It's dark brown.
18.
Okay, so from your travels and your training, you can tell from this distance that it's a wyvern, and it's flying towards the kingdom. And you've heard tell of how they attack, and you know immediately this is not good at all. And so as this is happening, the guards that you see, the 6 of them in their various positions, are like talking to each other and looking and sort of looking around, trying to calm everybody and not to turn it into this massive crowd thrust and to, injure the kids and all the elderly and everything who are there. They're basically trying to do crowd control as this wyvern comes in, and they seem befuddled. They're not really quite sure what to do. What would you guys like to do?
Well, I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity and see if I can get some coin.
All right. So how are you going to take advantage of it? You got people now sort of rushing past you up the cobblestone streets out of the festival area to the snaking area of the upper part of the city.
Yeah, so I'm just going to kind of like walk through the crowds and try to palm what I can.
Okay. You've got a husband and wife with a young child, and they're sort of both. So the wife is coming closer to you, and she's holding on to one hand, and the husband is holding on to the other hand of the child as they're almost lifting it off the ground. And she definitely has a coin. Well, she has some accoutrement, like some sort of things from her dress. She's got a nice brooch. She's got some stuff in there. So what is your sleight of hand? Or how are you going to do this?
Yeah, my sleight of hand is a +7.
All right.
So let's see what I can do here.
Roll her.
Oh, that was bad. 11.
Well, she rolled worse. Okay. So she rolled a 2. So in her panic, as she's walking by, you can definitely lift something off of her belt. You're not quite sure what it is, but it is a little pouch as she's running by.
Okay.
All right, you grab that, and inside there's 4 silver pieces. You can add that to your inventory. And as you're sort of going against the flow, more and more people are running by you. Kelsier, what are you up to as you see this panic starting to build?
Yeah, I want to kind of direct people to remain calm, but to move away from the creature as it's coming in. But I also want to find the guards in the crowd. I think you said there was about 6 of them that were huddled up.
Yeah, sort of like east, west, and closer to Steve.
Sort of my instinct is kicking in, and I want to make my way over to them and see if I can provide any direction or assistance to the guards to help ready up for this situation.
The closest ones to you would be, you're at the sort of the front end of the tents. The closest one would be the ones that are closest to Draymond. So maybe 25 feet away from you, and they're like, sort of discussing amongst themselves. So you make your way towards there. Torga, people are just running by your tent at this point, and you're seeing, you see what's happening, and the other vendors that you're seeing are like befuddled. They're closing up their stuff. They're trying to grab their money and also trying to not panic too much or let people steal what they have. And what are you up to?
I'm gonna grab my great axe and I'm going to tell everybody, get under me tent, get under me tent. I'll take care of this scaly bastard.
It's fantastic. You jump up on your table for that? Are you jumping up on your table, or are you just staying?
Yes.
All right.
Of course.
All right. So you
We're
jump
doing
up
it with
on your
flair.
table, and you
We're doing it with flair.
You start swinging your ass.
Yes.
So
that orc is so turned on right now.
He's not getting any of this, Quim. He can go for something else.
So, Atari, you're at the front of the grandstand, and actually, you're because the throng of people that are there are somewhat making you sort of move backwards. You cannot move forward, so you're sort of trying to stay stable, and people are freaking out. The musicians, the stagehands, the roadies are all like obviously clearly moving away, and you had your first step, so you're seeing the sort of onslaught of people coming towards you, and one of the vendors off to the right, you see this dwarf just swinging her axe and saying, "Come under me tent, I'll take care of this scaly beast." And it's like someone's definitely standing up and taking a stand against this one. But you see the vendors on the other side, like I said, were closing up their shops or as much as they can, grabbing their valuables and literally just ducking and running and moving towards the top end or the upper side of the city.
Am I close to Torka now since she's by the grandstand?
You're about maybe 20 feet away from that. And between you and there's people sort of skirting in and out and finding their sort of most unobstructed route to get away, because there's cobblestones on either side, and there's a central cobblestone that gets out of the festival area, sort of beaten down grass, and eventually gets to the cobblestone. So people are just scattering everywhere, and you can see Torga there screaming that, and where mostly everybody else is just leaving their tents or leaving the area.
Okay. I'm gonna walk calmly up to Torga and say, "Hey, Chickie, you got a death wish or something? This tent ain't gonna help you."
This taint. Oh. That's not happening. Sorry. Pull that one out.
You see this taint right here?
I don't think I've ever had a taint help me, for the record, but we're good.
Smell you later.
Oopsie. This tent ain't gonna help ya.
And so then I'll look at you and go, "Oh, a thiefling. Well, do you have a better suggestion?" As you stand there with your thumb up your arse.
Listen, okay, I know you don't know me, but
No,
this
don't.
This
But
is
you want to
a
tell me about
sand
my
dragon.
Yes.
It's a sand dragon.
Yes.
He's either going to create a big sandstorm and blow your freaking tent across the freaking kingdom, or he's going to spit acid all over you, dissolve the tent, and dissolve your skin along with it. So you could stand here like an idiot swinging your axe, or you can come with me and we could find some place to shelter.
What are we going to do with the people? Are we going to leave them here to have their skin burnt off?
Let the guards handle the people. Let's just go.
They're standing there like little boys on the verge of puberty. They're doing nothing.
That's their dumb fault.
Their bollocks haven't even dropped yet.
Are you gonna come, or are we gonna stand here and talk all day?
That's what she said.
For fuck's sake. People, go hide somewhere that's better than this tent. I'm gonna go with Thiefling here and see if we have something better we can do.
All right, we're gonna pause there. Kelsier, you've made it to the guards, and they seem to be talking back and forth between themselves, trying to figure out what's going on here. And as you approach them, you hear one say, "Well, where's Captain Axor? I don't know. He's not here." "Well, no, of course not. He's at the front. He's part of the security detail, not letting people in here. What are we going to do? The other two over there, they're not doing it. I don't even know who that is. It's Paul and Steve and Jack and Ryan over there. I don't know. They're standing around scattering, trying to help people." So you're coming up into these two guys who are just don't know what to do, as if they've had training, because you can tell that they're not like, conscripts or just 2 days off out of basic training. But this situation for them is like seemingly very, very dire for them.
So You men, I know you haven't trained for this. None of us have. Where is your superior officer? He's not here.
No, Captain Axor, he was part of the. Who are you?
I have some training. I think I can help you. I think why don't a couple of you ensure that the crowd gets to safety? Ensure you keep order. Otherwise, more people are going to get hurt.
You're younger than
trample
my
each
son.
other.
Why would I listen to you? You're younger than my son. I mean, give me a break.
Do you want help or not?
Well, I'd prefer to take help from my superior. Thank you very much. Now,
when your captain gets back, we can talk to him. Right now, you guys need to get in the direction of that thing and give these people some confidence that you're going to keep them safe.
He's not wrong. Paul, listen to him. He's not wrong. Let's just get in the front.
Paul.
Okay, twist that one around. Go on, mispronounce it. How dare you?
That's the most antique, Paul.
So plain.
Like I said, their bollocks haven't even dropped yet, Paul.
His name, it's actually pronounced Pole, but everyone else.
Oh, that's even worse. Does he braid his hair at night?
So one guy is convincing the other one to
George and Ringo are off.
Let it be.
So they start talking amongst themselves like, look, he's right. We're just standing here. Eventually they're going to come down. We got to help the people. And so the other guy looks at himself and looks at the other guy. He's like, all right, fine. You just he points to you and Kelsier, and he says, just get to the high ground. We'll take care of this. And so they split up and start to independently run towards the other groupings of guards who themselves are starting to sort of form this quasi line. And as you see that, let's say probably about halfway up the festival area is pretty much empty. The tents that Torga, that you were that area pretty much are empty. You two are standing there sort of, not standing, but you're sort of figuring out what you guys are going to do. And you see this creature flying into now this area. And I'd like you both to roll a nature check, please.
Me and Kelly, or
yes, Datari and Torg, please roll.
Okay, let's do that.
12.
Okay.
Not using that.
17.
Okay. So, Datari, you're just sort of looking at it, like, man, what the heck is that? And Torga, you're like, oh my God, that's a wyvern. That's not a dragon. That's a wyvern. So this is like flying off in your head at this point as you see this thing coming towards you. And you've got probably maybe 10 people sort of in front of you between you and the dragon. And so you guys see as it flies into the area, it, with its two claws, grabs 4 people. And you feel the wind from the wings literally flying through your air, and the screams, you can't imagine the screams that you're hearing from these 4 people who have just been clasped. 2 of them are the musicians, a couple of other ones are like the roadies, and one of the people who are sitting in the crowd, flying up, and they're screaming for help, screaming, and then the wyvern just tosses them into those like really strong buildings that we saw in that picture that I showed you, smacking. You hear the crack, and both of you immediately are like, holy shit, this is not good.
Ugh.
And it keeps flying up. Its wings are just like flapping up, but it's not leaving. It's just trying to get a better position. So,
that's a
Raymond,
shame. This small
you
town
see this
finally
going
got
on.
some great music, and it's
And
gone.
Fucking hell.
you see now now there's a panic. You're actually, because you're sort of standing there trying to see your options of being able to sort of grab some pocket purses as they're going, you're about to be run over by a tidal wave of people freaking out. So you're right in the position of where everyone's heading towards.
Okay. So you also said that people are leaving their tents.
Yes, the tents are essentially completely empty at this point. Everyone has left whatever value, whatever trinkets, whatever's in those tents that these people, these vendors, and there's a shit ton of them, they're empty.
Yeah,
Well, except
I'm just going to head toward one of these empty. I'm going to head towards one of these empty tents and see what I can score.
So, all right. All right. So
I'm splitting with him later with some, good
so you head down. You can see a sort of a scene that you can get like a running back. You find that spot that people are either taking the roads or heading up this sort of central, beaten grass area that's coming up, and you can definitely find a gap that you can run towards and move against the crowd.
Okay.
So Draymond, Kels here. You see, the two guards are sort of off on their thing, and they're definitely coordinating. And at this point, you see the four guards lining up. They put away their spears and they take out small handheld crossbows. So all of them have crossbows, and they're sort of positioning themselves to attack. And as you're sort of scanning the area, you see two creatures, two a tiefling from what you can tell, and a dwarf clearly who's just mouthing off in every direction. Towards the front area, standing their ground, you see the guards, and then you see one person, this what you can tell is an elf, running against the crowd and down in towards the festival area where everybody else is just running back. And as you're seeing that, you hear from behind you sort of a din of shouting, but authoritarian shouting. And you look back and you see, sort of above you're human. So what's your height actually?
6'1".
Oh, 6'1". Okay. So you got some good height. So you can see above the average height of most people, you see some spears and some longbows sort of rushing in from sort of the higher area into the area. And so that's that. So we'll leave that. Okay. So Datari and Torga, you guys are down at the end, and it is basically clear you just witnessed 4 people being crushed and thrown into buildings as if they were toothpicks. What do you guys do?
I'm going to shake my head and say, that's a damn shame. This small town finally got some good music.
Good Lord. That's all you care about. My goodness. What would you do if you were in his short little clothes? What would you be doing?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't be in his little claws.
Oh,
like I said before, we got to get out of here.
Oh, here we go with I'm better than them thing. Oh, yes, just what I see all the time from all the... So, okay. Scholarly one, do you have any suggestions?
Yeah, let's get to the nearest building. We really need to take some shelter here.
Yeah, and as you guys are talking, you realize that you are now the 2 lone people.
Not trying to become dragon food.
Right.
Wyvern food. Come on.
You see the wyvern is coming back. Well, you see the creature. Torga knows what it is. But Datara, you see this creature circling back, coming towards you at a very quick clip. Draymond, you are coming up to the side of the right-hand side, opposite of Datari and Torga, on the opposite side of the vendors, and you basically you can do what you want. The guards that were hanging out on that side are more towards the center area, lining up to try and give some sort of defense against this creature. Well, as you know, as a wyvern. And they're in the center area, maybe 45, 50 feet away from Datari and Torga, but definitely their attention is away from you. That's because the wyvern is coming from the other side from you. So you just got free reign in the bank.
Yeah, I'm as sneaky as I can. I'm going to take as much as I can.
Okay. So can you roll a stealth?
I'm splitting coin with him later, I swear.
Let's see him first. Roll a stealth roll, please. And
21.
Okay, Torga, do you want to roll a perception on that one?
I'm sorry. What are we rolling?
20 for a perception, because you're sort of facing where where Draymond is. Atari is focused on you, and she's looking towards you and towards the creature in the sky. So you could possibly see him. So what do you roll on a perception?
I rolled a 2.
Okay, so you don't see anything. You're actually blind as a bat. So
I don't see shit.
Steve, you go through several tents. You find 15 gold pieces. You find...
But hang on, I'm going to have to write this down.
Yes, I'm not going to remember because I'm just whipping this off.
Oh, you know what? I'll just do it in the private chat. Okay.
Draymond is the new Kalisha looting the bodies.
Better not be taking any money from my tent.
Okay, I got 50 gold pieces.
15, 1-5.
Oh, 1-5. Okay, I thought you said 50. Okay.
4 silver and 5 copper. You've got some trinkets, basically some sort of homemade little trinkets and stuff like that. Nothing, obviously you could resell it, but obviously there's just little trinkets and stuff.
Yeah, if it's not worth any money, I probably would not grab it.
All right, so you don't grab it. So there you go. So you're just rifling through all that stuff. And Kelsier, what are you up to at this point? You see the crowd is thinning out because they're mostly making it towards the front of it, but there's still hundreds. Because we're maybe okay, not hundreds. I'd say maybe 5 or 6 dozen of people are still trying to get out of this area, and the what you can tell as the city guard or the royal guard coming from wherever they were into this area. And so what are you up to?
I'd like to run towards where the victims of the wyvern. There's 4 of them. I want to run in their direction and sort of triage them to see if if any of them are still alive, and if they are, I want to see if I can provide. I want to triage them and see if I can provide any medical care if they are still alive.
Okay. So that's a good 60, 70 feet away from you because they're sort of down in the bowl, basically, as it were. So you head towards there. So as you guys are doing all this stuff, you see the creature, the wyvern, swooping down and again attacking. But there's a couple of stragglers that are still in the area. And I'm going to roll percentage. There's 4 other people in your area, Datari and Torga. Okay. So they rolled. Okay, the roll is going to go for the other 6 people that are in the area. So there are 4 people in the area. So you guys are spared. And so the wyvern, and again, the scale of this thing is, first of all, just frightening. But it's not extremely close to you, but it's close enough where you can literally smell this thing. And it sort of swoops down and slows itself, and it throws a claw to go and grab someone, but misses. The person actually falls, but the stinger comes down and literally pierces and cuts through a second person. And as it flies up, this person is skewered on its stinger, and it flies up again and is out of the bowl, the inner bowl of it. And then you see it just flick it off, and it falls extremely dead-like onto the soundstage. It breaks the thatched roof of the curved dome and smacks onto the soundstage and just crushes it as this thing flies up again. So Kelsier, you get to the bodies, and you can tell immediately that they're just completely lifeless. I mean, they're just crushed and killed instantaneously. So you think to yourself, wow, well, at least their death was quick. And you take somewhat solace in that. But secondly, like, holy crap, this is not a good thing.
Yeah, I want to do a quick prayer to Lathander over each one, and that they might find peace and new light in whatever life they are in now. And I'm going to my protective instincts are going to drive me towards the wyvern, as stupid as that might be, and as reckless as that might be. I can't, sometimes the best defense is a good offense. So I'm going to, in my tent, stowed is a shield and a longsword. And, if I'm unarmed, he's definitely going to take care of me. So I'm going to grab my shield and my sword and at least try to get the attention of the wyvern so it does not harm any more civilians.
Okay. So you're going to run back to your tent to get your equipment?
Yes.
Okay. So, Datari, as you guys are seeing this going on and you guys are going back and forth, you see this character, this person, well, human, running down from the upper part of the city towards those crushed people. And you see him go to their bodies and take a moment to sort of assess them very quickly. And you see him do a sign of peace and of prayer. And then he stands up and he looks up at the creature and he shakes his head and then he books it back to where he came from.
Oh, what a brave soul. Oh, brave lad.
Well, actually, Torga, you didn't see this. You're staring at her, wondering what the hell's going on with this.
Oh, okay, I didn't see it. All right,
yeah,
retract that because I'm short and I don't see shit. So here we go.
You're standing on a table. You're very much Pat-like. So just
I am. I remember that. I got to put that on now, right? I need a ladder.
She was talking about herself.
I'm like, I don't know your name. Do you see that guy?
I didn't see it. What did you see?
This dumbass is like, ooh. He's like blessing these kids on the ground and shit, and he's running towards the dragon. I know that it's a dragon now, right?
Well, you see, yeah, you from what you can tell, it's a dragon. And the next time it swoops down, we'll give you another nature check to see if you know it's a wyvern. But you okay. Look at it, it looks like a dragon, of course. Wyverns are minor dragons, except without the draconic language and the intelligence. So it very much looks like a dragon. So that's what your perception is.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's showing respect for the dead.
It sounds like he has a death wish.
And just to get you guys perspective, speaking of death wishes, you guys are now the only two people who are exposed to this wyvern who's making a curve coming back. Everyone else is now cleared. Those 4 people that were with you, they're either dead or behind you. So unless one of you can run fast, you're both going to be in the target.
Chicky, we have got to go.
Let's go. What's the closest building?
Where is the closest building?
Actually, the closest building would be to where Kelsier is actually leaving from, because these bodies were thrown into one of the more upper class inns. The stone walls there, there's doors there. You could definitely run there, and it's maybe 15, 20 feet behind the tent from you guys.
I got that. I got 25 feet of movement.
Okay.
I believe I do too. Where's my movement?
You should have 30.
Oh, 30 feet walking speed. Okay. I can dash.
You guys walking at this point, you got a problem.
Yeah, I'm dashing.
His vision's based off movement.
Yeah, we're dashing.
I am
dashing
totally dashing.
I'm dashing.
All right. So you guys are dashing. Draymond, you have looted probably about 5 or 6 tents. You found some coin. Nothing great. You got a shit ton of friendship bracelets, if you want them, with various names like dildo and all that kind of stuff. But you've reached the end of the tents, and there's nothing but the open field area, and you're somewhat covered, so the wyvern can't necessarily see you, but there's nowhere else for you to go and sort of loot at this point. Everything else is cleared out, unless you cross the open field and cross over into the other tent area.
Yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to push my luck.
Yeah, because you got at least 100 feet to get across there. It's very wide, this field.
Yeah. I'm going to kind of look around and see all the events transpiring, some guy coming and blessing, and I just kind of shake my head.
Okay. So you're absorbing so you see one guy who's like now running back towards the upper part of the city. You see, a tiefling and that horrid dwarf, of course, from your perspective, running back now towards the building for shelter.
Let me let you in on something. I don't have the same racial animosities that most Growls do because I was raised by a human.
Oh,
okay, all right.
So I do know that certain races hate me, but I don't care one way or the other,
All right.
But
I'm still gonna hate you.
That's fine. But I'm getting a little thirsty now, so I'm gonna go try to find me a
might learn to like you later.
Try to find me a drink tent.
Don't be touching mine.
Oh, that's where I'm headed.
All right. So are you like at this point scouting out how to get from the last tent that you're in back up towards where the people are, up on the right-hand side flank versus the left-hand side flank where Datari and Torga are booking it towards a building?
Yes.
Okay, because you see this the wyvern coming in. So, Kelsey, you're running back towards your tent, and obviously with your nature, every second heartbeat that you have, you're tossing a look back up towards your right to see where this thing is coming from. And obviously, as a creature of death, it is following the crowd surge and moving towards where everyone's running towards, which is where you're running towards. So what's your tactic to get back to your tent where your equipment is, which is not necessarily exposed, but it's definitely amongst the throng of people still trying to exit this festival area?
Yeah. Are the what are all the guards doing right now? Are they?
Oh, yeah. So the guards are launching their crossbow bolts. They're the last four, and as you see the wyvern coming in, you can definitely tell he's got a beat on them for the next attack. So,
are they? They're all kind of bunched together right now.
Yes, they're literally basically wyvern bait.
I'll kind of like shout at them to like spread out and try to make it look in different directions, and hopefully draw, if they can sort of go another direction away from the crowd to draw his attention.
Okay.
Hopefully if they have a sense of duty, then they will do that. I don't know if they're chicken shit or if they actually want to do their jobs, but hopefully they can draw him away from the crowd.
So and you're doing this as you're running, right? Or like,
yeah.
Okay. So all of you, Draymond, Torga, and Datari, you're seeing this one guy who just finished blessing these four his lifeless bodies, running up towards the throng of people, pointing and shouting at these four royal guardsmen. Actually, six. There's six of them total. Shouting, what you can hear is like, spread out, protect, give targets. And you see some of them are like, reloading their crossbows, their handheld crossbows, and one of them, the closest to sort of your flank, looks over at Kelsier and sort of acknowledges what he's talking about, and he sort of taps the guy beside him, and they sort of break up, and two go off to one side, and the other ones are sort of trying to reload. And as you see that, the wyvern comes down and again grabs the other four with his claws, flies out of the bowl. But two of them survived, and you see that you can see the claws just crushing the life out of these people and dropping them again in the middle of the bowl. The two other guards are running back towards now the throng, the rest of them reloading their hand crossbows. And Kelsier, you see from the front as the volume of festival goers is starting to thin out, you see maybe a good 10, 12 guards running down. And like I said, they've got longbows, and you can clearly tell one of them is directing them like you can see like speaking, talking, going, and you see in a very well methodical way this throng of 6 apiece spreading out left and right, and you just at the very top part of the cobblestone, you see a ballista coming down, and they're rolling it down quite quickly. And it's a very interesting construction. It's almost like it's being driven like a car, but it's not. It's not being driven by a horse. It's actually being pulled by several of the guards. And the construction is very interesting, as if these ballistas have been designed for a very particular purpose. So these are coming now into the battle area. And you see that. So Draymond, you're down at the end. You're scouting your path, and you can sort of see now the guards are scattering down, and you're all the way at the end. And you see the wyvern dropping these 4 lifeless guard bodies into the area. But they do have armor on, and you see that 2 of them are moving, at least, like trying, like death's, we're at the death's door. 2 of them are just like crushed, and you can tell that they're dead. But there's 2 other ones that are somewhat have life, and they're maybe 10, 12 feet away from you, as you see outside the tent.
Like range-wise, how far away is this thing from me?
Oh, the wyvern?
Yeah.
It's quite far already. It's got a hefty speed. It's
Okay.
maybe 60 feet away from you at this point.
Oh, 60?
Yeah. In the air.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna. This could be dumb, but I'm gonna try some distraction, and I am going to shoot it with my bow.
Okay.
Just kind of trying to distract it.
And your distance on that bow is
80.
all right. So roll to hit.
Roll to hit. I got a
10.
Yes, a 10.
All right. So you'll never see that arrow again. But there you go. It was worth it. So you launch that, and you'll prepare then for your next attack. So Datari and Torga, you guys make it into the building, and you see those 4 other bodies being dropped by the wyvern. But as you enter this building, you see maybe 40, 50 other people crouching, parents over their children, elderly people, single people, couples, just like crying and completely like have lost themselves and huddling all together. They've closed like the rafters. They don't know. They're blubbering. They're just like in a complete state of panic. There's one guy who's like, "We're all gonna die. We haven't seen these wyvern in 200 years. Why are they back? We've never seen them." Absolutely freaking out. And he's like freaking everybody else out. And he's like walking around, and he's like, "Don't you see? It's foretold this was gonna happen. Why is this happening now?" Freaking out. And he's like, other people are starting to almost feed off of that fear and go into it. He's right. The wyvern haven't been here. Why are they happening now? It's been eons. They haven't. Yeah, he's right. Is there some sort of foretold? Is there some sort of scripture about this? Stop talking. We're all gonna die. What are we gonna do? Where are the guards? They failed us. Freaking out. Absolutely freaking out.
So it's the 2 of us there, right?
Yeah, you guys just sort of walked in and closed the door behind you, and you see this throng of people, like I said, 40 or 50 people in this larger area. It's sort of like the entrance to an inn. There's chairs, there's some tables and stuff like that. You see like the check-in desk, but everything's just sort of scattered. Everyone's just sort of huddled down and being quiet, and there's just one guy walking amongst everybody, just freaking everybody out. But he's clearly having a moment that he's scared shitless, but he's not helping anybody.
Chicky, do you got a name?
Torga.
Gotcha.
Yours?
Datari. You got a weapon?
I got my great axe here.
Do you have anything that shoots?
No.
Okay. I'm going to equip my crossbow and kind of crouch down next to the door. And I'm just ignoring all the people crying behind me.
Okay.
I'm going to turn around and go, hey, shut up. You're not doing any good by sitting there and wearing your pants.
And he's
You have
sort of,
scared children here.
and he stops like his rant and he looks at you and says, that accent isn't even here from here. Get out of our land. You have no idea, you dwarf. Get out. You're dead. Why don't we throw this short thing out there for fodder? Maybe it'll kill this thing. Get out of here.
Shut your pie hole before I kneecap you.
So he
This
pulls out
short
a dagger.
person is going to save your hide.
So he pulls out a dagger and rushes you.
I'm going to spin around real quick with my crossbow and say, I don't think that's a good move.
Okay.
Thank you, horned one. But I would have just bunted him in his bollocks. He'd have dropped like a sack of potatoes.
Okay, so he rushes towards you, and there's like, it's not like a clear path, right? It's like there's like 40 people in here. So he starts to, move towards you, and a dagger in hand, and then as Datari turns around and he sees it, he's like, oh, whatever, it doesn't matter. We're all fucked anyways. We're gonna die. We're gonna fucking die. And
maybe we should throw him out there.
Yeah, so and people are like starting to really freak out with this guy. Kelsier, you're at your tent now. You've got your equipment at hand and you've picked it up. And what do you want to do next?
So where am I in relation to the wyvern and to the building that they're in and that sort of thing?
Okay, say that again. I'm sorry. Just
where am I in relation to the wyvern? And
got you. Okay, so the wyvern is now sort of swooping back on the now to your right again. It's done its attack, come out of the bowl, and is coming down towards you. Not towards you specifically, but the area of the main throng. And as you see the wyvern come in, it sort of slows down because it sees the ballista, and you see one guy saying, "Stand ready, ballista, lock, cord, pull!" And you see this massive bolt coming out of the ballista, heading towards the wyvern. And you see as the wyvern is sort of recoiling as it was coming in, the ballista flies by it and it sort of shifts itself and flies off away from you towards the opposite side of the bowl and is sort of, again, doing its second pass. But it was thwarted. No one was taken in this one. So you've got sort of a clear shot at it as it's flying away, maybe 30, 40 feet away from you.
Yeah. So the first thing I'm gonna do is breathe a sigh of relief, looking up at the ballista, knowing that is the kind of firepower that we would need in this situation. That longbows, crossbows, probably not going to do much of anything to this creature with its scales and all that. But seeing the ballista and seeing the reinforcements coming from the castle, breathe a sigh of relief there. Rearrange my priorities back to helping people, and I'd like to make my way towards the buildings where everybody went to huddle up in to see if anybody got hurt in while they were trying to egress from this area.
Okay, so there's the building that you sort of left where the four bodies were was further down into the bowl. You've got a building, which is the church. If you remember that church that I showed you, the entrance is actually maybe 10, 12 feet away from you. And you can tell that it was a sanctuary that people ran to and are definitely in there. You can take a look in there.
Yeah,
so,
I'll go that way.
All right. And as you're running, you see towards the church, you see a second ballista coming down around the curve. And then you see the second ballista. Right, and then you see the first ballista sort of moving towards the left, and the second ballista is moving towards the right. So you can definitely tell that this guy has everyone in control, has the guards in order, and the two that survived that one attack just a few rounds ago, they're amongst now the rest of them, and they're all deploying and they're all notching their arrows for the next pass. All right, Draymond, your down to that area. You just launch that arrow, and
Wasted, you want to say?
well, if you want to say that, yes. But thankfully, you've got a quiver of like 25 other ones, so you're good for the time being. And you're seeing this opportunity at this point that people are scattered. Maybe you have an opportunity to find your mark. That you know that it's almost like a house-to-house sort of thing, because people scattered. The weak tents were in the center part of this bowl. The stronger stone buildings are off to the edge, right up, butting up against the walled area of the entire walled city. And of course, you saw people scattering everywhere. You could do that if you wanted to.
Yeah, I'm going to try to. I guess I'm going to try to get up a little higher and see if I can pinpoint him from kind of a bird's eye view.
Okay.
I mean, there's a shit ton of people running, so he could be one of the crowd in the where Torga and Ditari is. So
right.
Right now my best guess is to try to get a bird's eye view and see if I can track him down.
Okay, and obviously doing your best to avoid the wyvern, obviously, if you can. All right, so Ditari and Torga, you guys are embedded with this group of 40 or so people. You got one guy who's freaking out, and I mean, he's annoying, and but he's also actually stressing the entire situation greatly. But what are you guys doing?
I am watching everything that's going on. I'm kind of like on one knee, and I have my crossbow readied.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm going to shoot at a dragon or if I'm going to shoot at that weird elf that's trying to steal everything, or whether I'm going to shoot that dumbass behind me.
I'm trying to steal everything.
I'm watching you.
Looking pretty shifty there.
So from your vantage points, you've got a very narrow view of what's going on. You've got sort of a left or east facing view. The shutters are closed. You've got the door that you have a sort of a crack open just to get a sense of what's going on. And that's why you see Draymond. So currently you don't see the dragon, as it were, in the area. You did see like sort of movements of troops and stuff like that off to the far left on the opposite side of the bowl. But you can't really tell much. You don't really have any idea where this creature is. You guys are basically, you found shelter and just trying to stay alive at this point.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Kelsier, you get into the church and you see maybe 10, 15 people who could use attention and first aid. The rest of them are just like huddled down, hiding under pews, doing their best to just hunker down. And again, you hear this din of, it's a wyvern. How have the wyvern returned? Queen Laramie was protecting us. How has this happened? And, don't worry, my son. Don't worry, daughters. It'll be fine. It'll pass. It's a random event. It won't be portents for the future. We are fine. We are safe here. And just like this literal din of disquiet from this citizenry. And you link that sort of fear to what you saw in the guards that weren't sort of doing their people were caught off guard. There's definite sense of like, holy shit, this wasn't supposed to happen. This wasn't just random attack. There's something deeper to it. And you get a sense that the populace is more stressed about this, and it's, leading to more distress, just to, heightened stress and, injuries and that kind of stuff. So you can definitely tell that there's a lot of help that is needed here.
Yeah. What I'd like to do is calm their emotions and, really empathize with them that, this is not something any of us could prepare for. No one saw this coming. No one in our lifetimes has seen this sort of thing, but point out the fact that we are in a church and that this is a holy place, and that if they have gods that they believe in, that they should pray to those gods for hope and courage. And let them know that together we'll get through this. We can figure out why this is happening later, but right now let's take care of ourselves, take care of each other. and I'll let them know that I'm going to help provide medical care for whoever I can, and just be ready to help however you can, and just keep talking to each other, and we'll see each other through this.
All right, so you start going sort of group to group, and you start spreading this word of like calmness and like, we're in here, it's not attacking here, the walls aren't crumbling, and you're starting to spread a sense of cautious safety. So you're starting to calm people down. Like the conversation is definitely changing, and you're seeing bumps and scrapes, maybe some deep cuts from falls or different types of contusions, that kind of stuff. So you're definitely helping along. And Draymond, what are you up to? You're moving your way stealthily up towards the upper bowl. And are you like checking in doors that you can? Or are you just like trying to do your best to avoid being detected while you're moving back up, because you're seeing this thing coming back down towards the inner bowl?
Well, I don't want to be detected, but I am going to check doors as well.
Okay. All right. So as you're doing the best you can to stay, I mean, honestly, you're the opposite end of the bowl where the dragon's coming from. It's not like you're exactly like the beacon of light of a target. And by the way, at this point, Datara, you see this through the door crack that you're keeping open.
Mm-hmm.
You see this character that's been, moving inside and outside of the tents, skulking about and checking doors. And Torga, you don't necessarily see it because you're sort of closer to her, but you're not totally aware of what's going on. You're sort of like just keeping an eye out on the people who are inside and that crazy person just driving everyone crazy. And as you're going through door to door, you open one and you see a throng of people, but your attention is grabbed by screams from the upper side of the bowl. And you see, like, you're finally realizing that this armament, you've got these 2 ballistas now. You've got a well-positioned set of royal guards in with bows and the whole bit. And as this wyvern's coming down, you hear, Paul! And you see these 2 massive ballistas coming, flying towards obviously the wyvern. Ooh, all right. We've got a hit. Ooh, 15. Oh, dang. All right. So you see, Steve, these 2 massive crossbow bolts, as it were, coming from the placements where they are at the upper part of the bowl, and one misses, but the other one, boom, hits the inner side of the wing. The scream is just crazy, absolutely crazy, and it recoils, and you can definitely tell it was harmed. It's not anywhere near dead, but it's definitely hampered, so it backs off of its attack. And Kelsey, you hear that screech, and you see the people around you. They're like, "Oh, what was happening?" And they start to freak out. And you hear the screech. And from your training, you can tell this is a screech of pain and not of attack. And you get a sense that, like, well, that sounded like something landed, and that brings warmth to your heart.
Yeah, I'm actually going to smile and sort of get excited, and I'm like, did you hear that? The Queen's Guard will not let us down. Did you see the reinforcements? Did you see the ballistas? They've got this under control, and have faith in them, and we're going to get through this.
So they all look at you, and they're really starting to listen to you, and they're like hunkering down, and like there's tears, but they're definitely starting to calm down. And Torga, you hear that sound, and you know that the wyvern, from your history and what you've experienced before, you know that that screech was not a screech of torment. It was a screech of pain. And you guys all can hear the wings. Not that you necessarily know what direction it's going in, but you distinctly know that sound as a good sound. And the guy behind you, did you hear that? He's coming for us. He's gonna kill us. "Ow!" And he is now absolutely freaking out, and everyone in there is losing their mind.
Hey, calm down. I know the noise is frightening, but that is a cry of pain. They have wounded it. I know. I've seen these creatures before. Trust. You're being taken care of. Calm down. And
You don't even know what that thing is. You don't.
It's a wyvern, you fucking idiot. Shut up. Go cry on your mother's breast. You'll have children here that need to be calmed down.
How do you know it's a wyvern? It's a wyvern.
I'm well traveled.
He's
Shush.
like, he's just an emotional mess. And
I know
but
you're scared.
and he's at least coming down from his emotional high, and you see the rest of the people in there are starting to like looking at you with like, wow, she knew what that was. We didn't expect that. And Datara, you see from the crack of the door, you saw actually that ballista hitting the inside of the wing, and it flying back. You saw the screech. You heard the screech, and you saw it sort of backpedaling on its attack. And then, of course, it leaves your sight, your viewpoint. But you're seeing that this royal guard has been quite well prepared, and that was a big attack.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'm going to look back at Torga and say, thanks. If that guy keeps crying, though, go knock him out or something.
I'll headbutt him. I'll
He's
put him
on my
out of his
last.
misery for a few minutes. He'll be fine.
You're gonna hit his knees though if you headbutt him.
Yeah. I got ways to make him come down to my height, honey. You miss. Oh, don't underestimate Torga.
So Draymond, you witnessed that entire attack, and first thing you see is that you're impressed with how quickly sort of the chaos from the festival goers turned into a well-oiled machine of the Royal Guard, thanks to that one guy who's screaming all of these orders. And you saw this the wyvern sort of backpedal, and you said, that's pretty cool. And you walk in and you see a throng of people again hunkering down, and then so this is a little small tavern actually, and at the back of the tavern you see one guy sort of sitting on the bar drinking from a bottle, and you see he's got this big massive scar on the side of his cheek.
And does he look familiar at all to me?
He does. Perhaps the clothing's a bit different. The hair is a different color, but that scar is something you've ingrained in your memory for quite a while. So that scar can't be camouflaged at all. The rest of it can be changed, but that scar is definitely a telltale sign.
Definitely. How many people are sitting around him?
Well, there's a good 20 people who are huddled under tables, like tabletops. It's a crowded, small room, and chairs are overturned. As you don't have a clear path at all. It's just like he's just sort of sitting and minding his own business.
Okay, I'm going to do kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? I'm just kind of looking around to like I've got a pretty good idea of how I'm going to approach that person. What I'm looking for is an exit. Back doors, windows, anything that I can sneak out.
On either side, like so, you got 2 and 2, maybe sort of midway point between where this the tavern bar is, and then you've got the door behind you. You see one door to the back, but you don't know how deep it is. You don't know what's behind that door. It could be a series of 500 doors or whatever behind there.
So when you say it's small, about how many feet by?
I'd say about 45 feet wide and 25 feet deep.
Okay.
And then, that's sort of the main area. So 45 by 25 feet. So it's not it's not a huge thing. It's a small little tavern. And the tables that were there, maybe 6-7 tables, like tabletops, where people stand and drink. Those are all toppled. You've got people huddling together and people crying and kids crying and just, people who would love to have an empathetic person to take charge and make them feel better. But clearly the person who walked through the door isn't that person. But that's fine. So yeah, they're all just like groveling and crying and stuff.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to try to do is sneak up behind them.
That would be kind of hard because he's sitting on the bar and you're standing and everyone else is on the ground. So he sees you. He's
looking at me.
He saw you when you walked in. Yes.
Okay.
But he's not paying you really any mind. He's just sort of seeing a person who's walking in the bar.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So that's that. Okay. Kelsier, you're in the church and you're hearing, shouts and screams from the outside the battle area, and the people inside the church. You've helped for the most part. You've done all of their, the triaging that you can, stop the bleed, that kind of stuff. So anyone who is in any dire straits or even lesser so, they're all tended to. And you've quite well calmed the entire group, and they're just sort of hunkering down, waiting for this terror to end.
Yeah. So what I'd like to do is I have a crossbow myself, and I'm going to sort of put on a little show for them and let them know that with our faith that we're going to get through this. And I'm going to say, by Lathander's light, we will get through this. And I'm going to cast divine favor on my bolts, and what they will see is a bright, radiant light coming from coming from my crossbow and my arrows, and they're going to see a divine light coming from my weaponry to let them know that now my weapon has been enhanced with divine power, and I'm going to make my way to the door, not necessarily going out, but I'm gonna let them know that I'm there to protect them. So and with divine favor, that's a bonus action for me, and it will give my weaponry, my crossbow, an extra D4 for damage if I hit.
All right, very cool. So you do that. You walk towards the door and you put on this display, and you hear like these gasps of, like almost like this is what they were waiting for. It was like yet another level of calming for these people, and they look around and they hold each other, and there's almost smiles coming on their faces as the tears are coming through. And thank you, we need to live, and we don't know what to do. The wyverns are here, and you are here to protect the Green and Hearst Kingdom. Thank you so much. Please protect us. And so like the flow of the emotions has definitely changed. But conversely, over with Datari and Torga, the crazy man has moved towards you, Torga, and is trying to get to your shoulders and like, why are you denying it? We are all gonna die. Why don't you stop? Why are you not helping us? Please help us.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I'm going to
You humans.
turn around, and I would like to do a cantrip.
Okay.
I would like to do thermaturgy. I hope I pronounced that right.
Not even close, but you're good.
Pronounce it for me.
Thaumaturgy.
Thank you. Thaumaturgy. Okay. I'd like to do that. I'm going to make my voice 3 times as loud as normal. And I'm going to say, would you please shut up and sit down?
It's a great use of that spell.
Thank you.
So that is what would a saving throw be on that? Would it be?
No, I mean it just
saving throw. It's just a cantrip.
Yeah, it just happens.
Okay. All right. So he's like literally trying to get a hold of Torga, and you scream, please face. And he looks up at you. And he just plops down and sits down. And as he sits down, people around in the entire area, like this communal sigh of relief that this crazy fuck is finally shut the hell up. And they look at you with like this revere, like you don't hear this, but like you can tell in their eyes, like, how did you do that? That's magic. That was. And you whispers amongst them, but you've definitely calmed them down. And Torga, what do you do as you see this happening? This, your new friend, quote unquote, just in one sentence shouted at him, and he's now suddenly sitting down and doing nothing.
I'll look at Datari and say, I'm glad you used your magical mum voice. He was getting on my fucking nerves. I mean, how many times can you tell a single person to shut the fuck up and he wouldn't listen? I was about to feed him to the fucking wyvern myself. Oh.
All right. With that being said, Draymond, you are staring down this character who's.
I'm gonna make my way to the bar and sit next to him.
Okay. All right. And he looks at you, and he takes the bottle he's holding and like slides it down towards you on the bar.
Thank you, friend.
Don't call me friend. I'll share the alcohol. It's free. I don't care. I'm done with that anyways. And he gets off of the bar and goes and grabs another bottle.
Okay.
You don't seem too perturbed by all this fracas outside.
I'm not the type to get worried about things that can be handled by others. Not my concern.
That's rare in these areas, as you can see. We got a bunch of no-life spies here.
Do-gooders and...
Exactly. I'm just glad I got a good 60, 70 gold pieces from all these tents from these sap vendors as they scattered and left here.
Yeah.
Easiest money I've made in a month. I don't know if I left any scraps out there, but good luck to anybody else who's out there. I'm just waiting for the Royal Guard to take care of this. I love this place. Every year, this festival is a boon for me. I swear I clean up and I can live on it for months. These people are like lap dogs for my moves, my man. You hear me? And so he's like, takes off a cork and half of it runs down his face.
Is anybody paying attention to us?
No.
Is there anybody else at the bar?
No, God, no. Everyone else is like, protecting themselves under tables and like crying and, hearing the attacks of the wyvern.
Then, since nobody is paying attention to us in our conversation, as sneaky as I can, I'm going to pull out my dagger and slice his throat.
Okay.
What?
Damn. That's cold.
All right. Let me just roll this up here quick. Just give me a second. I'm going to place him at the similar level as you are, just for context, so I can get a quick roll here.
Okay.
Draymond's an asshole.
Right. Give me a few minutes here. Not a few minutes, but let me roll a few things up. I'll come back to you, okay? Elsier, so you're at the door. You've just sort of calm, this group of people couldn't be more calm in a place of worship than they have been in the past 15 minutes that you've been helping and attending to them. And they're well placed to be left alone if you wanted to.
Yeah, so I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna try to. I assume it has windows or somebody can appear. I appear at the front door. I want to
Yeah.
like try to see if I can, find where the guards are. One of them is stationed. One of the groups is stationed, and just see if I can stealthily make my way over to one of the sets of guards and let them know that I'm not part of the Queen's Guard or anything like that. But if they need any medical assistance or anything like that, I'm and let them know that they'll see the crossbow and they'll see it glowing with radiant light.
Okay.
Present that and let them know if they need any more hands that I'm here to serve.
So as you sort of creak open the door, you get this crescent, for lack of a better term, front that the leader has set up, and they got a ballista on either side of the crescent, and they're being able to position it as the wyvern is coming back again. And the far end of the crescent is actually maybe 10 feet away from your position. And as you go out there and you say all those things, one of the guards is like, "Yeah, we're ready for the next attack. Go speak to the captain. He's the wounded that lived from the past attack. They could use help immediately. They're at death's door." And so he just points you back up the cobblestone street, and you can clearly see who's like running it. And as you're seeing this, you hear load, another scream. Basically, they're loading in the ballista again to launch the two next crossbow bolts. And as the wyvern's coming down, and also as you see that, you see those two dragonborn are crouching down among, not with the guard, but like sort of stationed with them. And one is sort of like got this sort of incantation that he's preparing, but the other one has a longbow notched, much like the other royal guard. And so you want to run up towards that area?
Yeah, I'd like to. Can I? Either get a perception check, or can I just see if what they're wearing? Are they wearing anything that looks like they're in the guard, or are they just wearing civilian clothes, or what?
Well, you don't need a perception check. You can definitely tell that they're foreigners. They're not part of the guard, but you can definitely tell that they're making themselves part of the help.
Okay.
Trying to do that.
Okay, yeah. Since they're, I noticed them earlier, and they're helping now. I would actually like to see if I can get in their area and maybe speak to them. Since Dragonborn, knowing a little bit about them, they have this in their ancestry somewhere, and this happens to be a wyvern. Basically cousins to dragons. Then this is kind of. Doesn't seem, I don't really believe in coincidences at this point in my life. So I would like to make my way in that direction and maybe talk to them if I could.
Okay, they're relatively close, but the guard that told you to run up and help the other people, you'd have to keep running past, but you can totally do that. It's no problem whatsoever. You can stop towards them. So you make your way towards them. All right, Cool. So Draymond, okay, I've got a quick roll up here. Why don't you roll 20 for hit? So let me tell you. So this guy is just wearing, looks like plain clothes, plain leather, nothing fancy. He's, looks like he's already half drunk. So he's flipping to the wind, and he's not expecting anything. So I'll give you an advantage because he's not expecting anything. So you can get the better of two rolls.
Okay.
And go ahead.
All right. First one is a 26.
You miss. I'm kidding.
Yeah, the other one was a 14. I think I'll take the first one.
You're just using a regular dagger?
Yes.
Okay.
So I wrote in the private chat what exactly I'm trying to do.
Okay. So why don't you, with the 26, you have he's not going to be dead, but he is going to be on one of his death rolls. Why don't you describe what's going to happen or what has happened?
So basically, we're sitting here, he's drinking, and I put my hand on his back and pull a dagger out of my sash and just kind of, and then kind of lay him down.
Cool. All right. So almost like instantaneously, there's no sound.
Yeah.
Basically, if anybody was looking, you see this guy sort of sitting on the bar, just putting the bottle down after taking a swig, and this other guy who's leaning up on the bar just sort of make a move like that, and then goes back and just sort of holds his face like that, and the other guy just sort of like doesn't fall off the bar. He's just slumped over.
He just slumped over like he's drunk.
All right. And what do you do now? No one's noticed. Everyone's still cowering and crying and all that.
I mean, is he still alive?
He's going to have 3 rolls now for death. He's going to.
Can I try to finish the job?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, look around real quick and kind of get him in the gut.
So you look around and you see a kid who's like hiding under his mother's arms. He sort of looks up at you and sort of like paying attention now to what you guys are doing because his face is away from the door, and you guys make eye contact. And then he just sort of looks at you and the guy.
I kind of look at him and point him.
And then he just starts crying and hides his eyes. That was good, actually. He's drunk. You like that? Just like my dad.
I need therapy.
So yeah, I'm gonna try to hit a vital organ.
Wyverns and alcoholics.
This is the shittiest festival ever.
It's a festival, man.
All right, so you sort of move into and just discreetly just shiv him, and he's dead. But when you do that,
No, you shank him
shank him
Yeah.
with a shiv.
Yeah.
with the shiv. Well,
Haven't you killed somebody before?
look, if Pat was here,
Killed anybody.
Only
Philadelphia, you'd all be dead anyways. But shanks him with the shiv, and but what happens though is now that he's lifeless, you're gonna like lose balance. He's gonna be falling onto you. So with your knowledge of what you've done, how are you gonna handle that final like sort of death move where you're gonna have to either lay him down or something? What do you do? Because the kid's sort of quasi aware what's going on.
Try to like lean him up against the bar.
Well, he's sitting on the bar top. Remember, like he's sitting on,
Right.
so just like lay him down, basically.
Yeah.
All right, so you do that. So you just like you kill him and like you just sort of gently lay him down, and that's the end of that.
Okay.
Oh, Datari and Torga, you guys are presiding over a somewhat less chaotic situation in your building, and what do you guys do? Well, first of all, let me set the setting. So you hear the beats of the wyvern and the wind coming in, and it's screeching, and then you hear screams muffled from your vantage point. Launch, and then Kelsier, you see the leader screaming this like a low baritone voice, and you see at this point maybe 24, 30 arrows launching from various positions, and you see the wyvern actually several of them make land, and he's sort of like it's still trying to keep itself afloat, and it's doing very well at it, and but it's not backing off, and so all of you sort of get this in a muffled sort of sense, and Kalish, Kalish, oh my god. Wow.
Okay.
I know, right?
It's hard.
It was the
Trust
first
me.
time. It was the first time tonight.
It's so good. It's hard.
I'm literally reading all of your names before I say them, so give me a break.
Okay.
Um,
No.
I'm not saying anything.
Datari, you get an angle of this that's going on outside. You can't see the wyvern because it's higher up in the elevated area of the bowl.
Okay.
But you definitely see like a good 6, 7, a dozen arrows coming from the right hand side of the flank, flying up sort of towards you.
The arrows are
Well,
shooting towards me.
No, like up, like into your area,
Oh,
like across from the
like
side, but
up
not
above
like-
me.
Yes, correct. And you
Okay.
figure from the sound,
He's
and
got to
from the
be
speed-
like right above the building.
exactly. And so with
I'm
that,
going
you-
to
people are starting to cry.
I'm going to go in just a little bit. I'm going to tell Torga what I just said, and I'm going to be ready, because you just never know what's going to happen. We don't know if that thing's going to come crashing through the roof.
Ditari, we can't let them know that.
No, do not tell them. If that guy starts freaking out again, I swear to God, I'm going to shoot him myself.
Just use your magical mom voice again. It worked well. Later, I want to see if you can use it on me donkey when he's just being a great pain in the arse. But anyway, what? They were talking about the wyvern, that it hadn't been here in a while.
I heard that.
Should we
I'm
ask
new
them?
to this town. I
Well,
don't
I haven't
know
been here
anything.
but a day or two at the most. Should we ask them? Should we not? I don't want to alarm the wee ones.
Do you see the shopkeep anywhere?
He be back there in the left corner.
Maybe we should wait a minute. I don't know if it's a wyvern?
Wyvern.
A wyvern. Okay.
Wyvern. Not quite a dragon.
Not
It's
quite a
got
dragon.
It's
It's
got a
Just you
stinger
guys
for a
correct
tail.
yourselves and trying to pronounce properly. Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. All right. Yeah, okay.
It's got a stinger for a tail.
it's like the bitch cousin to a dragon.
Very bitch cousin. Very much so.
Bitch
Such
cousin.
a salty bitch of a cousin. I'd rather face a dragon any day than have a stinging ass tail trying to kill me.
I
But
wonder if his name is Venestra.
What is that? Oh, well,
I don't know where that came from. I have no
we'll
idea.
have to have that talk later. But
It just sounds like a bitchy name.
well, doesn't it? Sounds like a right cunt, doesn't it?
Jesus.
But we'll talk about it later. Let's ask. We must find out some information.
Okay, I'm gonna
Find
stay
out some
here.
information.
I'm gonna
Sam?
stay here at the door.
Okay.
If you want to go back and talk to the shopkeep.
I'll do that. You
Okay.
take watch.
Be
All right.
discreet.
Of course, discreet is my middle name.
So okay, so you, Ditari, you sort of keep the door secured. You keep an eye on it there, making sure nothing's coming through there. And Tor, you make your way back through the sea of people who are cowering. Kelsier, you get to the position where the Dragonborn are, and you see as this is happening, there's chaos going over. Soldiers are re-notching their arrows, and the wyvern comes down and just obliterates a good 3/4 of that far right-hand flank of just bowmen over there, and swoops out. And as you see, it comes up, and the screech just fills the entire area. And he's got one of the soldiers again plucked on his stinger, and it swoops out again, and it flicks it off. And actually, this one soldier flies over the other side of the wall embankment and just is gone, of course. And it sort of swoops up, and you hear launch. And again, the 2 ballistas are fired. Ooh. So, second time, as you see, as it's arching up, the first one misses quite handily, but the second one smacks it into the back end of its tail. And again, it screeches, and it actually is now counterbalanced, and it swoops, and it actually lands quasi into the buildings, crushes some of the roofs, and struggles. It screeches, and its claw comes back and rips the ballista out of itself, and you see blood flying out of it. And it looks back at the entire area of the bowl, and just you see the look in this face is like, I'm back. It swoops up, flies up, and then flies away from the bowl. And you get to the Dragonborn, and they're like stunned with what they just saw, and they sort of realize that you're behind them, and the sort of the elder sort of looks at you as, "Can I help you?"
Hey, we really got to talk to the entertainment coordinator of this festival, huh?
You mean that wasn't on the,
I wasn't
Yeah,
expecting that. So he definitely chuckles at that for sure.
And as I say that, I'm going to take a shot with my crossbow up at the wyvern while I'm trying to make small talk with the dragonborn.
All right, I'll roll a 20.
All
Well,
right.
you've got maybe 75 feet.
Yeah, we can make it.
All right. Even the young one had a chuckle at that one.
And 14 to hit.
That's a miss.
Okay. Well, it's flinging, but it's glowing in the air, so it looks really cool.
Right, looks really cool.
And I'm gonna compliment the shot that he just took, and I'm just gonna make small talk, because we're focused on the wyvern. But you gentlemen, they're both males, the dragonborn.
Yes, from what you can tell. Yeah.
You gentlemen caught my eye earlier. We don't. It's good to see you. We don't see many of your kind around here.
This is true. We are dragonborn, and most people are fearful of our species, but we have been coming to the festival for many years, and here's my youngling, Eve. I'm bringing him out into the wilds to train for further enhancement and advancement in his training.
And so you look over at Eve, and he sort of just bows his head, and Razavar says,
He goes, we have been always welcome at Iron Bridge Castle and Iron Bridge City. Not only do they appreciate what we do for here and the region, but...
And he points over to the captain, who's now sort of walking towards taking stock of everything. And you realize the captain, who's been directing this entire attack, is also dragonborn.
Well, unfortunately, ignorance, it's a huge cause, for fear, and hopefully, with some more education, we can make the people less fearful of your kind. But I appreciate what you've done for the city. And what kind of training do you bring? What is Eve training for?
Okay, so let me read his character. Just give me a second. He is. I'm channeling Aaron now. He's not Zubov.
I am loving this. Loving
Okay.
this so much.
He, like I myself, is a paladin warlock, and we are traveling the path of our god, spreading justice to the region.
And as he says that, Captain, and you see, says,
Captain Axor approaches.
and Captain, the guy, obviously commanding the respect that he does, he stands and he's looking about the wounded and the bodies of the people. And he looks up and he says,
We've had many champions reveal themselves today. I beseech you all, gather at Queen Laramie's court tomorrow at sunrise and be regaled for your heroic actions and join our defense of the kingdom.
and that concludes chapter 1
Wow!
of the Accursed Queen of the Iron Bridge.
An epic chapter 1.
That was wonderful, Charles.
Epic. We loved it, Dungeon Master Charles.
Thank you. Well, that's we're going to end there tonight. And as we've done in the past, just for gameplay instructions, as we've done in the past, anybody who is going to be playing tonight or next week, these heroes are going to be amongst the heroes that have stood today. So as characters come in and out, we're just going to make it that they were part of this original group of heroes that are going to be part of the story, so that we have a nice smooth transition from all the players who can play one week and not the other. So tune in next week for Chapter 2 at the Red Five Tavern and the Accursed Queen of Iron Bridge.